We all rely on farmers and ranchers, but farming is riskier than other businesses out there. Crop insurance helps farmers manage their risk. With crop insurance, farmers put skin in the game by paying premiums and shouldering deductibles. That keeps taxpayers from having to pick up the whole bill every time disaster strikes. Today, about 90% of U.S. farmland is insured, providing $100 billion in protection to more than 130 different kinds of crops. It's a testament to the program's success.
Thank you for joining us for our Agri-Pulse Washington Week in Review. I'm Spencer Chase, joined as always by Agri-Pulse Executive Editor Phil Brasher, discussing the week that was, agriculturally speaking, in Washington, D.C. And in Washington, D.C., this is going to shock you. This is going to shock all of you, really. But the news of the week is the coronavirus. There's no way around it. There's really no other way of putting it. It's something that has kind of gripped the nation and gripped the nation's capital, especially here in these last 24 to 36 hours. I think it's safe to say, as we record here on a Thursday afternoon, a lot of events being postponed, canceled, et cetera, et cetera. The Capitol complex is being restricted to basically folks with credentials only. Tourists are being barred from the grounds, and so a lot of folks trying to react to this virus and to this what the World Health Organization is officially calling a pandemic at this point, including the United States Congress and the Trump administration working on some kind of a stimulus package legislation to see what they can do to mitigate the impacts on this coronavirus on a number of different industries and individuals and companies alike. And Phil, at this point, we can say with confidence, we feel that there's going to be some food and ag language specifically on nutrition in this stimulus package.
Yeah, there are actually a number of provisions in there, basically to address concerns about the impact on low-income people of furloughs, of school closings in particular. Kids that depend on schools for free and reduced price meals. There's a provision in there to provide emergency allotments of SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits to folks on that program, and also to waive nationwide the work requirements for able-bodied adults.
Mm-hmm. And so a lot of things that are working on kind of getting their way into this bill. At this point, though, there are some more controversial provisions that are, leading to some back and forth between Republicans and Democrats on this. But at this point, it does not seem that the nutrition language is garnering that level of controversy.
No, not really. Most of the what controversy is, what we're hearing pushback from Republicans, some Republicans, is over the issue of paid sick leave. Notably, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced that the Senate was going to come back next week to deal with this. There was word that the Senate would put this off until after next week's recess to deal with it. If that was indeed the decision, it was quickly reversed. So we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, a lot of will on both sides of Capitol Hill to address this, with the market seemingly in free fall and so much concern across the country about the economic fallout, not to mention the health risk as well.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously a lot of different moving parts on Capitol Hill in regards to that coronavirus stimulus package. We will keep you posted on what that means for food and ag policy on agripulse.com as those discussions continue to unfold. But also want to touch on a different aspect of this coronavirus, and something we've been following for kind of a while in terms of the impacts of this virus overseas, and that being the ability of countries like China to buy American goods as they are dealing with a coronavirus outbreak of their own. But Phil, now there's worries, there's concerns about, the American workforce, and, just a broad international concern, and really wondering what impact this is going to have on agricultural trade of U.S. goods abroad.
Yeah, well, there's so much unknown. We don't know how long this economic disruption is going to be on our side, how far it's going to extend. Do we have trouble shipping? I think the major concern that's been talked about on Capitol Hill is the impact on this, on China's ability to meet its commitments under the Phase 1 trade deal. Agricultural Secretary Perdue was on Capitol Hill twice this week talking to House Committee and then to the Senate and was asked, of course, about this issue. He continues to say that he's optimistic that China is going to meet those commitments eventually, that they are taking steps that they need to lower non-tariff trade barriers, but we just don't know yet.
So, like we said, a lot of things to follow and things to stay in touch on. As we did mention earlier, a lot of events are being canceled or postponed as a number of organizations kind of assess their travel plans. I know I just before we press record, I got news of another organization canceling its fly-in. If you've got a trip to DC next week, maybe reach out before you step on a plane to see if that event is still taking place. For instance, this week the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee, the USDA and HHS effort to update the federal nutrition advice, that was moved to a webcast. So obviously a lot of different governmental and non-governmental organizations kind of taking stock of their own events. That does include us here at Agri-Pulse. As many of you know, and as many of you are planning on attending, the Agri-Pulse Ag and Food Policy Summit here on March 23rd, that has been postponed to June 22nd. Any information that you need or require on that can be found on agripulse.com, or reach out to anyone on staff and we'd be happy to help you out. But at this point, we do want to let you know that that event is postponed, not planning on having that on March 23rd at the Press Club, looking at June 22nd in the same location. But obviously a lot of things up in the air, a lot of things up in flux, a lot of people hoping to watch a lot of basketball in the next couple of weeks might not be able to. Stay tuned on that front, and far be it from either of us to issue medical advice, but I guess wash your hands is the prevailing wisdom at this point, and please do so. Please continue to do so, and obviously we'll be keeping you up to date on all things coronavirus and its impact on food and agriculture. But I think that's going to do it for this week. So for Phil Brasher, I'm Spencer Chase. Have a good one.